called Cassie. So how many Flyleaf fans do you have in the audience? Singing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sticking around all these years, hanging out tonight. You know, when I'm gonna introduce. This is Ben Hull on the bass right here. This is Nick Corder on the drums back here. This is my husband Josh on the guitar, Josh Sturm. My boys are somewhere over here, probably. Somewhere? No. Oh, we'll cut them on. I don't know where they are. Somewhere. They're somewhere. They're safe. I'm sure of that. Well, this one's due 4th of July, so this is his first tour. And when I left Flyleaf, I never thought I would do music again. I just didn't think it was going to happen. And it was a really hard decision for a million reasons. It was one of the hardest decisions I've ever made. But I knew that there's seasons for things, you know? And I knew that my mom, she was 15 when she had my brother, 16 when she had me. And she didn't get the chance or the opportunity to just figure out life. She had to just survive, you know? And I had this great opportunity to make a choice to just figure out how to be a mom. So I was so thankful to get to make that. Thank you guys so much for all the letters and support. It was awesome. You know, like I said, I never thought I would do music, but I was so thankful for all the letters that I got from fans. You know, so many times I get a letter from a fan and they tell me how the music helped them through something. And the thing is, the truth is that, and they would say, oh, it helps me feel less alone. But the truth was, it made me feel less alone, because when I would get these letters, I would just want to tell them, and I would write many people back. And I didn't get to write everybody back, but the people I could write, I would tell them, well, now you have that same story to tell other people that they can overcome what they're going through. You have an opportunity. It's your turn. Go do it. And so it made me feel less alone. It inspired me so much, all these letters. So I was trying to stay connected with all the rock fans. I like rock fans because it seems like rock music and rock fans, they sort of like are angry at the injustice, and they want somebody to scream about it. And they're like, yeah, say that, scream that, that's great, yeah. And I love that. They stand up in some way. And so I don't know why we like vampire movies, but I got this as rock maybe, but I got this email, or I got this phone call from a guy named Gino Leonardo, who was playing guitar for Filter, and he was doing the soundtrack for the Underworld soundtrack. He was doing music for that vampire movie. And he was like, would you write some lyrics to this song? I was like, yes, my people will be at that movie. I'd love to do that. And so I found a synopsis online of what the movie was about, because they wouldn't let me see it early. I don't know. I'm not that special, I guess. So I found a synopsis, and the movie is, the movie synopsis is that there's this vampire. Okay, I have to be able to relate to this so I can write lyrics, because I have to mean what I'm singing with this thing. So there's this vampire and this werewolf, and they have a baby. And the baby is this hybrid creature. She's the most powerful creature on the planet. And her werewolf daddy dies before she's born. And the vampire mom gets frozen in ice somehow. And so 16 years later, she gets taken into government custody. And so she's in an insane asylum because something's wrong with her. She's weird. And then her mom wakes up in the ice and she starts to remember, because vampires, I guess they're clairvoyant or whatever, I don't know. So she just remembers, I have this daughter and she's in this insane asylum. She knows this somehow. And she's like, I have to go rescue her, because she has no idea that she is the most powerful creature on the planet. She doesn't know who she is. So she breaks out of the ice. She goes to the insane asylum. She breaks her daughter out of there. And they're in the car and they're driving away. And this demonic werewolf creature comes up and rips the top off the car. And he reaches in to devour this girl before she can find out who she really is, because he's afraid that when she knows that she actually is the most powerful creature on the planet, she doesn't know it yet. So he's reaching in to grab her. And as he goes to grab her, she starts twitching. And the 16-year-old girl who's crazy, her medicine's wearing off and she becomes her true self. And so she reaches up with her bare hands. She grabs the thing by the head and rips it in half with her bare hands. So she's like, oh, what just happened? And her mom's like, we gotta talk. I gotta tell you who you are. And I thought, oh, this reminds me of Jesus. So when I was younger, I hated when people talked about Jesus. It's cool you guys are cheering, but when I was, that's probably when I would leave if I heard that. When I was younger, I hated hearing people talk about Jesus, because I felt like it was a broken chair telling people to sit in. It wasn't going to help. And when I was younger, I believed in God, but we had a lot of, we didn't know when we were going to eat sometimes. My mom would give our food stamps away to the babysitter, and I'd be like, well, wow, what are we going to eat? And she'd be like, shut up, God will feed us. And he would, where are we going to stay tonight? Shut up, God's going to take care of us. And somebody would open their floor and we would have a place to stay. And I watched God take care of our family. So when I was young, I believed in God. And then when I was 10 years old, my 3-year-old cousin was beaten to death by his stepfather. And I remember thinking, I thought God was going to take care of us. And I got angry anytime I talk about God. It made me mad. I'm like, don't tell him that. He's not going to take care of you. And I got mad at Christians more than anybody, because they were the loudest. And I hated everybody who was happy, because how can you be happy in a world where stuff like this happens? Something's wrong with you. And so I only liked people who hated people. And so I was so full of this sadness and this hatred, and I taught myself how to stay sad. And I was so full of this just disdain for life and the people around me, that it just wore my soul out, because our souls aren't meant to be full of hatred. They're just not. It wears you out, exhausts you. And I was just worn out, and I didn't want to wake up anymore, so I decided to commit suicide. And then the day I planned to commit suicide, I had a miraculous encounter with this God that I didn't believe in. That's the reason why I'm still alive. And one of the things I understood about God in my encounter that I never heard or understood from Christians, maybe I couldn't hear it because I was so prejudiced against Christians. Maybe they did say it, but I didn't hear it. I didn't understand this. But that God made humanity to be these powerful, beautiful children of God. We're meant to be made in His image, these powerful, beautiful creatures of light and love that are meant to make the world amazing. And in order for us, God actually is love itself. That's what I understood in this encounter. He is love itself. And I had all these things I said I loved. I had no idea what I was talking about. There's a million counterfeit versions and we run after them all. And then we find ourselves empty still. And we recognize it was always Him. It was always because we wanted Him. God is love itself. And in order for us to understand love, we have to have the freedom to choose out of our own will. We have to have the freedom to choose it because love honors freedom. Love doesn't control or manipulate or force you in something. It honors your freedom to choose. So He gave us the ability to choose. And so He set before us, He said, I'm going to set before Him life and death. I'm going to tell Him, this is life, this is death. Choose life so you will live. And over we chose death. We chose death over and over. So we died a little more as individuals, and we died a little more as a human race, and we died a little more, our planet died a little more. And we kept choosing death and kept choosing death, and finally God's like, I'm going to become a man. And I'm going to show them what it looks like to be a son of God. And so Jesus came to the earth, and He was this powerful, beautiful, miraculous creature of love and light. And He looked around at the people that everyone was spitting on and kicking to the side and saying they weren't worth anything. And He said, you are worth so much more than they have told you. Stand up and be who you were created to be. And He continued to stand up against religious hypocrisy and all of these different things that were keeping people weighted down. And they were telling them that they were just slaves to death. And He's like, no, you have more in you. Stand up and be that person. You can be that person you are. It's in you. And over He preached this message of love and light. And then there's the devil right there going, but they chose death. They deserve death. They chose it. They deserve it. They chose death. They deserve death. And Jesus is like, I know. And I never chose it, not one time. And because of that, I can take all the choices of death that they've ever made onto my own self, and I can die in their place. And if they come to me, then all that can come out of their heart as it comes into me on the cross. And they don't have to carry it around in them if they don't want to anymore. And so He allows His creation to crucify Him. He hangs in shame. In our shame, naked and bleeding and beaten and spit on and broken on a cross. And as He's dying, He's God in the flesh. Remember, He can come down if He wants to. And there's the devil. They're not going to choose you. They're going to spit on you. They're going to mock you. They're not going to choose you. They're killing you. They're not going to choose you. And there's a scripture that says God's gifts and His calling are without repentance. And He's on the cross, and He says in the face of this, they're not going to choose you. I don't care. They're going to have it if they want it. They can have this freedom. They can have this gift if they want it. And so He dies. He goes to hell. He takes the keys of death from Satan. He raises from the dead to prove that we don't have to be slaves to death anymore. And then He goes and sits at the right hand of the Father and sends the earth His ghost, His Holy Ghost, so that anyone, anywhere, at any time can come to Him and ask for this ghost to fill them so that they can overcome this slavery to death, so that we can become these powerful, beautiful creatures of love and light that we're intended to be. And it reminded me of this hybrid vampire werewolf creature. This song's called Heavy Prey. By your kiss,